Hey, what's happening, everyone? It is I, the man, the myth, the mustache, Tim here, and I've got a brand new video for you. Welcome to part 5 of What If Deku Had a Magic Quirk. Please, sit back and relax because you are in for a treat. With that little intro out of the way, let's get this story going, shall we? As they entered the building, Class 1A was in awe at the intricately made layout, filled with several different rescue areas that 13 began to identify for them. They had reached the edge of the stairs to descend into the plaza of the USJ when the light suddenly flickered, and the previous feeling from before sent a shock-like sensation down Midoriya's spine. He whirled around, eyes darting to try and find the source, only to freeze for a moment as a misty purple substance began to swirl around the fountain in the plaza. Kacchan, something isn't right here, is it? No shit. The two exchanged a hushed whisper between each other as they watched Aizawa and 13 move into a combat stance. The substance expanded, and figures began to move within it. Slowly, several people poured out of the rift in the air, accumulating in the plaza. At the center was a blue-haired man, covered in hands, standing next to a hulking, monstrous being with an exposed brain and bird beak. Kirishima spoke up. What's happening? Is this part of the training? Stay back, all of you. This isn't a simulation. Those are villains. Real villains. Aizawa's words made his class freeze in shock and fear. Several took a few steps back as the mist swirled into a singular point, changing form into a humanoid shape. 1A's teacher quickly pointed towards the exit, demanding his class to flee immediately with the help of 13. Midoriya, who was worried about the safety of their teacher, was about to say something when the hand of his blonde friend clamped down on his arm. Come on, nerd! He'll be fine, damn it! They followed their classmates, dashing towards the doors, only for a sea of dark indigo to obscure the view. They all skidded to a stop and stared up at a towering fog with golden eyes. Greetings, young heroes in training. I am Kurogiri. I apologize for my abrupt appearance, but we cannot allow you to leave the premises. A formal voice emanated from the wispy mist. After all, we can't let you miss the performance, as we have All Might finally meet his end. Eyes widened, and some murmurs flew about the class. 13 held an arm out to keep them back as she pointed her finger at the villain, preparing to use her quirk. You can't stop shit, you bastard! Kacchan, what are you doing? Midoriya watched as his short-tempered friend rushed forward with Kirishima, attacking the villain and releasing smoke, dust, and debris into the air. At first there was silence, allowing a large smirk to grace Bakugo's face, until the voice spoke up once more. Ah, so the rumors of the strengths of Class 1A are not fables. I am quite impressed by your powers. Golden irises glowed past the fading smoke. But I'm afraid your efforts were in vain. Kids, get behind me now! 13 ordered. As soon as the students were cleared, 13 uncapped the finger of their suit and began using their quirk to absorb the villain's mist. It seemed to work at first, until a rift opened up behind the pro, turning their own quirk against them in seconds. Seriously injured, they fell to the ground, much to the horror of the students. That was close. 13 is quite the adversary. The mist appeared to shake itself. Now then, I'm afraid I cannot afford to entertain all of you, so you must excuse me as I shall now scatter you across the facility to meet my allies. And your doom. The fog from the villain's quirk hurtled towards them faster than most could react. Thinking as quickly as he could, Midoriya threw the biggest shield he could summon, trying to enshroud everyone he could from the furious smoke. As the smog cleared, more than half the class was missing, with only those within the shield or those who dodged still present. How interesting. You managed to resist my teleportation. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Midoriya's eyes began to glow brightly. I can do a lot more than just that! Kurogiri hummed softly before a rift opened up beneath the magician's feet, sending him falling down. The students gasped and tried to grab his hand, only just missing them by a hair's breadth. If that is so, perhaps you could be a valuable test subject for Shigaraki and his Nomu. The last words of the villain sent icy shivers down Midoriya's spine as he fell through the portal. When he reappeared, his eyes widened as a knife embedded itself an inch away from his foot. He whipped his head around, realizing he'd been sent down into the plaza, the same plaza infested with villains. A nearby villain recognized he was a student and went to attack. In a flash, he threw up his hands, cast a spell to throw up a shield. The attack bounced off, shocking the villain at how easily it had been deflected. Turbo! A whirlwind blasted from his palms as Midoriya released the shield and catapulted the villain into several others. He barely dodged another attack, getting a small scratch in his arm, rewarding the villain who targeted him with an equally powered gale. Midoriya, what are you doing down here? Eraserhead grabbed a villain sneaking up on his student and slammed them harshly into the ground. The mist villain, Kurogiri! He teleported me here! Midoriya ducked as Aizawa punched forward right into the face of a villain. He said something about using me to test someone named Shigaraki and his Nomu? No time to think about it. We have to get out of here. Now! The UA teacher led his student closer to the exit, protecting him while the emerald-eyed teen unleashed magical attacks at a range. All seemed well, until a scraggly-haired villain rushed forward, gripping the hero's elbow, which began to rapidly decay under his grasp. With a grunt of pain, the underground pro wrenched his elbow free and launched the villain away with a powerful kick.
Haha! I found your tail, Eraserhead. That hair of yours is a dead giveaway for when you're using your quirk.
The voice of the man was raspy and high-pitched, almost whiny.
But look at you. Still so confident you can pummel me like all these other useless NPCs? Well, guess what, Eraserhead? I'm not the final boss here.
In a flash, the hulking monster from earlier appeared behind Aizawa, grabbing his arm in a crushing grip, making him cry out in pain. Sensei! The cry for his teacher turned the attention of the lunatic to Midoriya, crimson eyes narrowing behind the hand covering his face.
Oh, so you're the student Kurogiri dropped in. I've been watching you, but I still wonder what made him do that. Why don't you show me, huh?
The man charged forward, while the beast pinned Aizawa to the ground. He reached his hand forward towards Midoriya. The freckled magician quickly remembered what 5-point contact did to his teacher and thrust his hand forward.
Your weak little twisters won't get me, kid.
Oh, this'll be anything but little. He pulled out his book as his eyes shone an even brighter hue, beginning to morph into a violet color.
Tewat Lagara!
A giant drain on his energy made Midoriya grunt as winds whipped at the roof and floor of the USJ, spiraling to meet in the center to form an unstable twister, hurtling right towards the pale man with hands.
No, that's not fair!
The man halted quickly in his advance.
Nomu, protect me!
The being with inky black skin darted towards the man, engulfing his body as the tornado crashed into them. The spiral of the wind moved past them, revealing they hadn't even moved an inch from their spot. In shock, Midoriya released his hold on the winds, letting them fall apart and scatter everywhere.
Damn it! You're just like him, aren't you? I hate having to fight mages. They're worse than annoying NPCs.
The man pushed free of the now identified Nomu.
Nomu, go ahead and practice for killing All Might by smashing that brat's head in.
No! The familiar cloth of Eraserhead's capture weapon encircled the beaked monster's arm. The man stood on his feet shakily, with a resolute look in his eye.
Damn it! Take care of the pro first, Nomu. Crack his skull open like an egg. I'll take care of the brat.
The beast let out an inhuman roar as it went after the 1A teacher, grabbing him roughly by his hair and slamming his face mercilessly into the concrete, creating a large crater. Aizawa-sensei! Just as Midoriya was about to try and help his teacher, the other villain managed to reach him, securing all but one finger around his neck.
Gotcha now, brat.
He wrenched the chin of the emerald-eyed adolescent towards his teacher.
Now, I'm gonna make you watch your teacher die before I turn you to dust.
Midoriya's eyes widened in fury and despair as Aizawa's head was repeatedly slammed into the floor, the agony in his eyes sending spears through his heart. No, I can't let you. I won't let you! Midoriya's entire body began glowing an iridescent violet, and Shigaraki's fingers steamed as an impossible heat emanated from his skin. He screamed in pain as he shoved the teen away. Emerald locks whipped in the air as the magician never even hit the ground, instead floating in midair. I won't let you kill anyone here! Not today, not ever! A spell crossed the glowing teen's mind in a flash.
Mercutius Verditus!
An arcing bolt of green and magenta energy shot from Midoriya's hands, plunging into the heart of the Nomu. The being convulsed and screamed with pain as the energy sent shockwaves throughout its entire nervous system, causing it to convulse wildly and release Aizawa.
Minagao!
A second incantation spilled from his lips, this one manifesting a beam of fire from his hands, unknowingly cauterizing the wounds of the beast and slowing, if not stopping, parts of its regeneration. Midoriya could feel his actions taking a toll on his body, his energy draining at an exponentially high level, but being met with some sort of surge of energy coming from around him. The strained equilibrium made him feel sick. He prayed for a miracle to help him defeat the villains, finding his prayers answered quickly.
Tamura Shigaraki, we must retreat. A student managed to escape and is no doubt going to call for backup.
Kurogiri glanced at the scene before him.
It also seems I underestimated this student if he has somehow managed to do damage to our Nomu.
Damn it, Kurogiri!
Shigaraki glared at the floating student.
We may have to leave before we can kill All Might, but at least we can cripple his spirits. Nomu, get up already and kill that brat.
The hulking monster slowly clawed itself up and leapt towards Midoriya, only to be covered in a shield projection from his hand and flung into Shigaraki.
Tamura!
Kurogiri quickly went over to the duo.
We cannot risk you and the Nomu if the heroes arrive while you are in this state. I am initiating our retreat now.
No, I want that brat, Kurogiri. I want him dead!
The lunatic's voice rang out as a black mist engulfed the trio, leaving nothing in their place. Some of the few villains who hadn't been knocked unconscious in the fight panicked at seeing their employer leave so suddenly and began fleeing themselves. A horrible dizziness draped itself over Midoriya as his adrenaline began to wear off. His glow dimmed as he fell softly to the floor. As it finally left him, he felt completely exhausted and drained of all energy. Izuku, hold on! The sound of his name being called out made the freckled teen slowly turn his head towards the sound. All he saw was a blonde blur heading towards him, the image fading further and further out until the only thing he could see was black. Meanwhile, pale hands held up a small orb, displaying the scene that had just played out.
My. It seems the challenge has finally deigned to show itself. Get ready, dear niece. We have work to do.
And that's our video for the day, so thank you all for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Before I go, there's a little bit of housekeeping I want to go over with you. First, We the Celestials has many other channels and content for your entertainment and viewing pleasures. All the information you'll need is right below in the description. So, please feel free to check out all the other incredible content our team creates. Second, on behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details are also in the description. Give the writer and the editor some love, they do a lot of hard work around here. So that's it for today's video, so thank you all for sticking around, and I hope you all have an amazing day. And as always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and stay awesome. This has been Tim. Mustache out.